Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Dopey over here, and look, I just want to apologize. My computer's acting up in terms of our production quality. It hasn't been there. We need to get a camera. I think that's evident. And look, we'll improve it. It's something we need to work on. We're doing like an NRL. You know, if someone's screwed up or done a couple bags in the good old toilet. Just one of those press conferences right now. Look, we apologise. We've got to be better. All we hope for is forgiveness. So yes, the lack of uploads is a technical problem on our end. Nothing to do with our lack of commitment to producing the best podcast in the world. But yeah, anyway, we should start our sort of podcast off with, a sporting topic, I guess. Which sport would you like to cover first? Obviously, the NBA happened today. Champions League this morning, multiple UFC. There's just so many things to cover.
Yeah, I think we should probably start with the NBA. Obviously, season kicked off today. Give our general pre-season thoughts before the season sort of really gets underway and all the teams start to take shape. We can start with the first two games today. Obviously, Lakers, Nuggets, Western Conference Finals rematch from last season. Now, if you didn't know, I'm a Lakers fan, so if you're a long-time listener, you probably did know that. But so I was highly invested in this game. We had a really great off-season, I thought, in terms of player acquisition. We got a few nice free agents. The squad was looking deep and young. I think we have actually one of the youngest squads now, which is quite crazy. I think LeBron and AD are the only players over 30 in the team, which is quite impressive considering we had an average age of 45 2 years ago.
Well, they looked it. Let's be real. Yeah. They looked over the age of 30 today.
Did they? Well,
I thought LeBron got embarrassed a couple of times.
No, he stepped on his foot.
Okay, yeah. And Anthony Davis just didn't know how to play basketball in the second half.
Yeah, the first half AD was good. LeBron, I was actually impressed. He scored about 10 layups somehow and didn't score a single other point, except for that three at the end. But look, LeBron's 39. He's not going to be averaging 30 points most likely.
Well, you need him to, by the looks of things.
No, well, everybody else played badly. I don't think they're all going to play that badly. We were playing the best team in the league in the Denver Nuggets. Now, the game basically resembled how all four games in the playoff series last year went, where we were kind of close, within 5 to 10 points for the majority of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, they just slaughter us at the end. So it was kind of disappointing in that aspect that we haven't really improved, where Denver technically on paper have gotten worse, losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. But, it is what it is. Obviously, we need time. I'd like to... Taurean Prince, he played really well today. He scored 18 points, I think, but...
You cannot...
I don't like seeing him get that many minutes. I mean, I'd rather give them to Cam Reddish just because he has some sort of potential, even though he's been shit so far in his career. But
how many chances is that guy going to get? I mean, it's just every team he goes, he just didn't get the opportunity. Like, that's just every...
But he never has actually got an opportunity to play consistent minutes.
Maybe because what the coaches have seen in training isn't good enough.
Yeah, obviously, but he might be one of those guys. You just throw him out there and he gets it going.
I don't know. I doubt it. But look, you never know. I think the Lakers off season. Look, you shouldn't overreact to one game, and I'm not. But
remember,
I think
we were 2-10
if you're going to take, I think if you're going to take an objective look at it, the Lakers off season is probably the most overrated.
What?
I think the pickups have been bargain bin. Honestly, players that have either shown regression last year,
Gabe Vincent,
or look, Gabe Vincent's a solid pickup, but really was only prevalent during the playoffs. He
was decent the whole year.
Decent, but came off the bench today. I think it's similar to what they did, 1-2 years ago with Kendrick Nunn, bringing him in. Everyone thought he was going to be a big impact. Didn't do anything.
Well, he had a bruised knee.
He had a bruised knee for about 2 years. Tough injury that. But yeah, people saying, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood's okay, but he flopped in Dallas, and really hasn't been, that great since his sort of breakout year a couple of years ago. And the superstars, the guys that have carried you are getting older. Anthony Davis looked obviously shouldn't judge it on one game, but looked a bit dodgy. And look, you're playing the defending champs, so you're always going to get a bit of that. But you were always playing catch up in that game. You were never really on their level, and as a Lakers team that sort of had championship aspirations this year, it'd be a bit concerning if I was a Lakers fan.
Yeah, but I mean, you think back to last season, we were the worst team in the league to start the year, and then we ended up making the conference finals. So obviously,
after making a ton of moves.
Yeah, after making a ton of moves. But I mean, it is going to take time to gel. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, he's the NBA's Sean Kenny Dow. I've never seen someone more rocks and diamonds in my life.
Well, that was a good line.
I just don't have confidence in him, really. If he makes a shot, it's like, yes. But
the thing is, every time he shoots it, you think it's going in because he's got such a smooth, loopy jump shot, but just doesn't seem to go in most of the time. But
Austin Reeves is good, but I mean, people expecting him to be an all-star.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit.
Like, the guy was 24 when he came into the league. Like, the guy's like 27 years old. Like, he's not like a young Austin Reeves, like 20-year-old. Like, he's a genuine like veteran at this point,
and he's somehow still hasn't discovered what a haircut is. He's got
I don't know what
the
he's
most
doing.
NPC haircut I've ever seen.
Like, we shouldn't be talking because we have bad haircuts, but like
you're in the NBA, you can get a haircut.
You've got money, dude.
At least get it like short on the sides or something. He's just got it like a 10 all round.
You don't have a job. Like, you can get whatever, you can do whatever you want to your hair. Like, if it's a mohawk, you want to do a mullet, like, do whatever. But like, don't have like a middle school like haircut, like a 13-year-old's haircut.
Yeah, like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid haircut.
It's just a bit weird. And look, we obviously are speaking from experience of having that haircut. I mean, I am anyway. But look, it's just, in terms of the overall performance, I was probably a bit underwhelmed by the Lakers. And, you know, it's so tough to not make early judgments, but the early judgment was, like I said before, the Nuggets were on a different level. And you just look at the depth they have, just the quality that they just got so much quality in comparison, and it's just going to be tough to see anyone that can sort of rival them, especially in the West this year.
Yeah, well, I think Denver are by far the best team in the West for sure. Let's see, my takeaway was that there's a distance between us and Denver, but I still think we'll be like a 4 seed based on that performance.
Yeah.
And then the other game was obviously Phoenix Golden State.
Bit of a weird one, but a predictable one because Golden State, of course, came through in the third quarter. Yeah, what was your sort of thoughts on it?
My thoughts, Bradley Beal, fucking play, mate. You've been injured for 4 straight years. Let's get it together.
What's his injury?
I don't know.
I just saw him on the sideline. I'm like,
Jet lag from moving to Phoenix.
What's Blood doing?
I don't know. Draymond as well. Get on the court, mate.
He had a grey beard.
He's had a grey beard for years.
I know, but he looked especially old. Like, he looked 48 years old.
Draymond. Well, he's getting up there. He's like 34, I think. But the game itself, look, Phoenix, even though they won the game, I don't think they have a chance. I mean, their depth is horrific. I mean, Josh Okogie was good this game, but you
can't count on that.
Yeah, like, it's literally Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal when he plays, and
Nurkic.
Scraps. I mean, you can't even count Nurkic.
He had a lot. How many boards did he have today? He had like 12 in the first half. He's a big boy, but again, defensively, it's tough to gauge first game, but I don't know. It just seemed, I mean, we've said it before, we probably said it in the off season, they're so lopsided in terms of offense compared to defense. It's ridiculous. And I'd never like teams that gather so many superstars offensively and then say, well, we've got to address the defense. So let's just get a bunch of guys that are cheap who only play defense and have zero offense, because we've seen that never works.
Well, they haven't. They've got Eric Gordon.
Well, Okogie's a defensive guy.
They've got Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen who have zero defense.
Oh, they're known. They're kind of defensive guys. But yet, sort of my take on them before the season was they're way too small. They just, I mean, obviously Kevin Durant's big, Nurkic is big, but apart from that, they're really small. Eric Gordon, like you said, small. Bradley Beal, small. Devin Booker, small. They're just very... It just feels like if they came up against a Denver Nuggets, they'd just get physically destroyed.
Yeah, well, Denver would destroy them. It just didn't look good. It's just going to be ISO, nothing else.
Yeah, and Devin Booker... There was good defense played against Devin Booker today, but he just made his shots. And that happens with... Devin Booker's very talented, but... In the playoffs especially, he'll have games where he's 4 of 15 taking the exact same shots.
And Kevin Durant, I mean, I don't know if this is controversial, but he's washed to me. I mean,
that's early.
He's left his prime, like, noticeably to me. He's not the same anymore.
That's way too early.
Really?
Well, look, you can say he's left his prime, but washed is like...
Well, washed compared to 2018 KD, I'd say.
That's bold. But
he's just not the same player to me anymore.
Maybe. Well, look, overall, it was a good... I mean, in terms of scheduling, well done, NBA. You picked probably the two, those games were probably the ones that people wanted to see the most, obviously, with the... with the Phoenix Golden State narrative with Chris Paul recently going to Golden State. And then obviously the Lakers Nuggets, LeBron James' biggest name in the NBA against the defending champs. Good scheduling, good opening weekend. Is it usually Clippers Lakers that play?
It's not a usual. It depends. They
do mix it up.
They did do Clippers Lakers when Kawhi and LeBron joined, obviously.
And guess who won that one?
Yeah, well,
the Clips.
Yeah, who's got a championship?
Is it real? Did anyone see it? Was anyone in attendance for them to see?
Yeah, I believe the lowest amount of people ever saw it, but
I don't. But I've still. It could have been a hoax. You never know. But look, good opening day, and looking forward to the game. I think the Clippers are playing the Blazers 1:30 our time tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting game. Hopefully, Kawhi Leonard and Paul. I think they're healthy. I mean, but you never know.
They threw him out there in the preseason.
They could trip and fall and get a busted toenail. You never know. Things can happen.
Yeah. Westbrook. You got is Harden coming? I don't think he's coming now.
Well, I just think he's like he's just like one of those guys that just cannot stay in the same place. Like easily just dissatisfied. I just don't think he's. I think the reason why he might not be coming is because the Clippers are like unrelenting in not giving up first round picks. I think the last trade rumored, I'm not too sure if it was a Woj or Shams guy that leaked it, but apparently the last trade offer from the Sixers was, I think, Terrence Mann and like a first and then a pick swap, and that wasn't accepted from the Clippers. So I think it's getting to the point where it's going to be like, well, you can either have nothing or Terrence Mann.
I think that's smart from the Clippers because nobody wants James Harden.
Yeah, there's no other. He's literally said he doesn't want to go anywhere else. No team will take that contract. No team will take the player or the personality or the age. So you're kind of boxed into like, James Harden could probably sit out the whole year, or you could get a solid role player in Terrence Mann.
Like he's already got $100 million in the bank. The fines aren't going to do anything to him. So yeah, he can just sit out the whole year, and it's like you can either get nothing or Terrence Mann. Even though Terrence Mann is not a great return for James Harden, but
he'll still impact you positively in terms of.
I mean, potentially he's pretty trash, but
I don't think he's trash. I think he's a very good defender and he's a very good athlete and good catch and three guy. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would help us because honestly, what have we got to lose at this point? But I mean, there's only one ball. I mean, could you imagine? It's like building a team perfect.
Westbrook,
for 5 years
Harden,
ago.
Kawhi,
could you imagine this team 5 years ago? That's what I'm going to say.
It wouldn't have won.
This team was literally the all-star team 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, James Harden,
Westbrook,
both of them could never win in their prime. PG could never win in his prime.
Kawhi could win in his prime.
Kawhi could win in his prime.
But that team would have been unreal. Like that team would have been
entertaining.
Won. That team would. If you don't think that team would have won, you're smoking something.
I mean,
they don't play at that time. 5 years, they were the 4 of the 5 best players in the NBA. LeBron was the 5th. Like that was or Kevin Durant. They were 4 of the top
Steph
6.
Curry.
Okay, 4 of the top 8. We'll say 4 of the top 8 players in the NBA 5 years ago. Like that wins an NBA championship. So, I think. Look, it's a bit too late for it, but I mean, like I said, what have we got to lose? We might as well just ride this fucking horse till we die. So there you go. That's the NBA chat. I think we should do a bit of a shorter one, obviously with the technical difficulties. We don't want to stretch our luck by going over the hour mark. But look, talking about the UFC, maybe we'll jump into disappointing for Australians all around the nation. Just a sad one, to be honest. Volk, the country's favourite probably nominated to be favourite Australian sportsman at the moment. Anyways, we thought it was going to be Ben Simmons, but a couple of years ago, but that didn't turn out well. But yeah, sad to see him lose to a Dagestani. Yeah, what was your take on it? Did you watch the fight?
I didn't watch it, so I landed back I was in France last week, and I landed back in the airport at like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
And that's basically when the fight was happening. So I landed, tried to open my phone to put a bet on before the fight started.
God,
it wouldn't let me place the bet, so the fight must have started literally right when I landed. And then obviously once I got into the airport, I looked on my phone. I was shocked that the fight was already over after the 5 minutes.
Bamboozled.
Yeah, he just got shin rattled across his bald head. So, it's sad to see. When you think about, like, crossroads moments, like, this has realistically probably ruined his career.
Ruined.
Well,
in terms,
it's tough to come back from.
Well, I don't think it's tough to come back from in terms of how good he'll still be. But I think in terms of legacy, if he would have won this after probably winning the first fight, or arguably winning the first fight, I think for his legacy, he'd be probably regarded as one of the greats.
He would have, but if he doesn't take this fight, right, he just defends against...
And look, it's a tough. He had 11 days?
Yeah. So I'm saying if he defends against Topuria in January, which is what he still wants to do anyway, apparently, he probably would have got the fight anyway, but with a full training camp.
Yeah.
Right? So he could have done that, done the whole thing, and definitely would have had a better chance at winning with a full training camp. But now he's done this. He's taken a bad knockout loss. He's on the wrong side of 35, which is... The stats are horrific once you turn 35 in the lower weight classes. I think it's like 1 in 30 almost in title fights if you're over 35. So it's... Look, he's taken a knockout loss. He's over 35. It's dangerous times. He wants to come back in January, which is like in 2 months, which is really fast after you've been knocked out. So if he loses to Topuria, which I think is a possibility now because... Once you lose one, you tend to lose 2 or 3 in the UFC. I mean, look at Kamaru Usman. He's lost 3 in a row now, and he was the GOAT 2 years ago. So it's very tough to come back from these sorts of things. Obviously, I'm hoping he can beat Topuria and then maybe have one last push at the lightweight belt, but I don't know how he's going to get another shot unless Islam loses. So it is very sad, but look, what can you do? What
can you do? Was there any other notable fights that you wanted to mention from that card?
Well, it was obviously Usman Chimaev. Chimaev won. It was slightly controversial. I think most people had it either as like a draw because I think Chimaev, most people gave him a 10-8 in the first round. He nearly submitted Usman. But then I think a lot of people gave Usman the second and the third, which would have made it a draw.
Yeah.
But they were close rounds, so you can't really complain with a Chimaev win. But I think he's kind of been exposed as not being that good. Obviously, the Gilbert Burns fight was very close. This fight now has been very close. So I think the recipe is basically if you get out of the first round, you can beat him because he's really dangerous to start the fight, but then his cardio doesn't seem to be the best. So it's a weird thing because both of them weren't ranked at middleweight. The fight was at middleweight. They were both ranked at welterweight, obviously. So now Chimaev has come in at number 9 at middleweight, which is kind of hard to give him a title shot when he's number 9. So I think he might fight Adesanya next. I don't know.
Interesting. It would be a big name fight.
Yeah. And the other news in UFC related today, John Jones.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
He's pulled out of his fight next month, which is great news.
Yay. This guy, first you tease us with the Francis fight. Now you just the guy, look, he's already the best, probably the best fighter of all time, but come on, get your ass in the ring.
Well, apparently he tore his pec, so there's not really much you can do.
Have you heard about his brother, Chandler Jones?
The NFL player?
Yeah. Gone a bit wappy. Gone a bit off the rails. Obviously, yeah, just a bit of a side note. Yeah, he's kind of gone a bit psychotic. He's been, people are saying CTE. Yeah, have a look into it. I don't want to repeat.
Is it like
Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
It's exactly like it. it's literally identical. It's essentially him like doing like stupid stuff on like Instagram Live and like just saying like the most out there things, just blaming, like saying how bad the owner of his team is. And like, I don't know if I can't exactly remember if he's been cut or not, but I mean, Chandler Jones was one of the best, if you know NFL, one of the best pass rushers in the league. But kind of slowed down last year, and this year just CTE has just gotten him. I mean,
how's it kicked? How old is he?
He'd be like, I think he's a bit on the older side. He's probably like 33.
It's kicked in early.
But yeah,
that's the NFL for you. They fucking get rid of the helmets and
tackle with your shoulders.
Yeah, like putting the helmets, it's like a reverse psychology. You think you're getting protected, but you actually get hit in the head way more.
But it's also like it is that, but it's also the nature of the game is also why they get so many CTE, because it's all about yards. It's all about like if you can stop a team getting 1 or 2 yards by putting even bigger hit with even more force, then that's a benefit to your team. Like, but in the NRL or in rugby, if they get another couple of meters on a tackle, like you can just do a legs tackle and it's fine. Or you can wrestle them and they get a couple of meters, it's fine. But it's life or death if a team gets, if it's third and like 3 and you've got to stop someone that's running full speed. You've got to stop them in such a short distance that you're going to have to use all your force, and that just leads to, head clashes essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous sport. And it's not even like, I don't know how they fix it really, because they're kind of...
there's no way really to fix it. I think they sort of realised, if you've seen the movie Concussion, great movie, with Will Smith. Yeah. Not a great accent by him. Not a great Nigerian accent. We could talk about Will Smith, but that's a different sort of kettle of fish. This is not the podcast for you.
I've seen a lot of Jada stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what rabbit hole we're going down right now, but whatever. We've transitioned some way to that. But anyway, if you've watched Concussion, great movie. Essentially, the NFL, the moral of the story is the NFL knows about the concussions but does nothing about it. I think they probably knew about this and sort of said to themselves, look, there's nothing we can do unless we dramatically change the game. And everyone will hate it. It's just going to be one of them where it's the nature of the business. It's like F1. We can damage limitation. We can do as much damage limitation as we possibly can in terms of preventing these, death crashes. But there's only so much we can do at the end of the day, because the product is the product of the product is a product. You can't change it because the nature of the rules and the nature of the game. But yeah, look, we'll see if anything changes, but I seriously doubt it. I think it's gotten to a point where most people are accepting it, that, it is what it is. People are going to get head knocks and... I think they're better in terms of concussion protocol. They're getting people off and they're sort of resting them week by week. Obviously, in previous NRL or AFL or whatever, that wasn't done. And NFL as well, that wasn't done either. So I think they're getting better with that sort of stuff and sort of treating it as an injury, a concussion as an injury, in comparison to just get up and do your job. So yeah, I think it's getting better in terms of the treatment of it, but the nature of the game will always have concussions. But yeah, anyway, UFC. Any other fights you want to mention from that card?
There wasn't really. There was just a funny one where the fight before Johnny Walker and Ankalaev. Basically, Ankalaev illegal kneed him, like PDR on Aljamain Sterling, and then the Johnny Walker wanted to continue. The ref asked him where he was, and he said in the desert, because he was in Abu Dhabi, so he technically was in the desert. But the ref stopped the fight when he said he was in the desert. So that was an interesting one. It
was a bit controversial. Was it? What was the takeaway from that in terms of social media? It was most people.
It was the ref. Most people were flaming the ref for stopping it. Yeah. Because I think Johnny Walker was kind of joking by saying in the desert. He seemed to be conscious. But then the other thing was that they ruled it a no contest, which it should be a disqualification if you're going to stop the fight. But they ruled it a no contest. So, and then the fight before that as well. Actually, the doctor again, one guy got kicked in the nuts. and the doctor said, "You didn't get kicked in the nuts, mate."
Bro, I saw the footage.
And the fighter's like on the floor, like, "What are you talking about, bro?"
It's like, come on, bro, get up.
Yeah, the ref is literally like, "Get up, bro." There's no, I mean,
You think get kicked? Come on. Well, that's interesting. Well, yeah, big fight card for Australians. Didn't turn out too great. Moving on, we can talk
quickly on combat. This week is Tyson versus Francis.
Oh, yes, is it? I didn't even know. What day?
Sunday.
Big fight. Obviously, Tyson Fury is going to win, so does it really matter?
I think Francis Ngannou is like $8, which is pretty crazy in a heavyweight fight, especially when you're probably the most powerful man on the planet.
If you bet on Francis, you're an idiot.
You are an idiot, but
no. Look, if you
the glory is there to be had.
Yeah, if you put a $5 on it, fine. If you put anything more than
what about
$15 on it, you're an idiot.
20?
No, you can't.
What do you get from 20?
He has 0 chance of winning.
Yeah, but the glory. Imagine if he
has
wins.
a massive punch, but Tyson Fury has taken massive punches and gotten up. Like, it's not like the guy has a glass chin. He is and he's way better. Like, he can dodge the most classy fighters in the world. Like, he makes them look like idiots.
Yeah, but sometimes
Francis Ngannou is nowhere near.
Sometimes that's what messes people up. Just the pure shithousery of the technique.
He's going to look so slow, and Tyson's just going to be like, "Oh, see ya. Oh, well, that's happening," and he'll not like he'll be one of those.
Look, I think
he'll be Bryce Hall. Who was Bryce Hall? Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom. Remember that first fight? That's what it will be like. It will like Bryce Hall is just like he's gonna be like.
I do think Francis will be very timid at the start. I think he'll try to sort of not overthrow and overcommit because he'll be scared of the counter. But I mean, it's not even for Tyson's belts. I think it is still a professional fight, but it's not for his belts. It's weird.
Well, because Tyson's slated to fight Usyk.
How disrespectful is that shit? They book a fight before they've even had this fight.
Well, it's not like if Ngannou wins, he's going to be like, fighting for heavyweight champs, is he?
Well, he is.
Well, I thought he was going to go, after this fight, he was going to go back to the
I mean, he's signed with the PFL, but if they're throwing 100 mil at you to fight Anthony Joshua, you're probably going to take that, aren't you?
Well, I'd imagine. But, yeah, look, obviously want Tyson to win. Manchester, brawn and bred he is. But, yeah, very interesting. Also on the combat, if you want to touch on it quickly, the YouTube boxing occurred with KSI losing controversially against Tommy Fury. What did you think it was? I don't know if you watched it, but were you? Did you see it as a?
I didn't watch the fight, so I can't comment on the scoring of it. But I just heard the whole thing was pretty pathetic in terms of both the performances.
Oh yeah, apparently it was dreadful.
I've seen a meme of KSI because he literally fights in a karate stance essentially, where he's just like hopping backwards and forwards. And there's like a meme of someone saying, "Oh, I've seen this before," and it was just the Grinch doing that. Is fucking thing.
I think I saw Mike Bisping just be like, "Yes, KSI, it was a robbery. It was a robbery to all the people that paid money to fucking watch that shit."
I mean, Tommy Fury's a disgrace, really, to professional disgrace to his family. Yeah,
like if that's what you do and that's your name, like, come on, it's kind of like Michael Jordan's son. Like it's that you no problem if you want to be a regular Joe and just have a normal job or even want to be like a reality TV star and just say, "Yeah, I boxed a bit when I was younger, but I'm a reality," like that's fine. Do what you want to do, but you cannot be a boxer and say you're like a professional boxer in the next big thing, and then just be like fighting 2 YouTube boxers in a row, and being shocking in both.
Yeah, it was terrible from both, and then obviously the Dylan Dennis fight, Logan Paul destroyed him, which I think most people thought would happen.
If you thought, I mean, look. It was funny, Dylan Dennis, like pre-fight, all the things he was doing. But like, if you genuinely thought he was going to win, you didn't know Dylan Dennis. Like the guy, like socks at an MMA level of boxing. Like he cannot stand up fight in MMA. if you didn't think it would happen like Ben Askren and Jake Paul, I thought it was basically an identical sort of situation and the same situation.
Well, it did go to decision, so
yeah, but
Dylan, it's almost hard to comprehend. Similar to Ben Askren, how you can be like 30-something years of age, have practiced and trained boxing for 15 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and still be that bad at it. It's
because they don't train for it. Like
they do practice it.
I know,
I know it's not their main thing.
They probably didn't. He probably didn't even do a training camp. I saw actually a picture of him leaked when he was in a nightclub like the night before. So, and Ben Askren, when he fought Jake Paul, said, "I'm not good at boxing. I will fully admit that, but I'm betting that Jake Paul is worse than me." So, look, it's one of those. Ben Askren, very gifted jiu-jitsu fighter, but wasn't even. I mean, he got released by. Was it? I don't know. Bellator?
They traded him for Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
One traded him for Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
I thought I heard he got cut from Bellator.
He might have got cut from Bellator, but he was at one after Bellator.
Well, yeah. Anyway, he's not good enough in terms of his fighting ability to even be on an MMA level. Never mind a boxing level. So, yeah, it is what it is. But
yeah. Unfortunately, I hate Logan Paul now. He's just so fucking annoying to me. But why? Because he's too egotistical. He's just uncomfortable to watch.
I guess if you've got how could he not be egotistical? If
you were that, just be fucking humble yourself.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we would be a bit different, but you'd be a bit egotistical if you had fans for doing what he did. So, look, and he's dating an ex-model.
An ex-model?
I don't know. She modeled for I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on with them. But anyway.
Also, drop the lawsuit though. I mean, that's cringe as fuck to sue someone you're fighting. Even though he did trash you. Even though he did roast your girlfriend, that's a part of it. If you sign on the dotted line, you're open to everything. So,
well, Dylan Dallas did go a bit far.
He did go a bit far, but you don't sue him.
Yeah. I mean, that's stupid. But yeah, moving on from the fighting aspect, we can talk about maybe the Cricket World Cup briefly. We'll touch on the rugby a bit later, so we can sort of talk about your whole experience in terms of the trip of the Rugby World Cup. But the Cricket World Cup, how have you sort of seen? Have you watched any of these games? Obviously, England aren't doing well.
Yeah, England aren't doing well. Australia weren't doing well, and now they're looking like they're doing a bit better, which is good. I haven't been watching many of the games live, but I've been seeing a few of the highlights. I think Australia are playing at the moment as we're filming against Netherlands. So hopefully, I think Netherlands beat England.
No, they beat South Africa.
No,
we lost to Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Don't get it confused, mate. Come on, show a bit of respect.
Yeah, I mean, the last game, Warner and Marsh had that record partnership. They both got centuries, which is very good. David Warner, I mean, he's copped a lot of criticism. We've criticised him, obviously, about his Ashes performance. But he fucking is still delivering. So, good on him.
Yeah. Well, look, in terms of an England perspective, it's probably... We've been the worst team in the tournament. It's not even close. We haven't even been close. The South Africa game, I mean, we lost by 200 runs. It's been embarrassing.
South Africa have randomly become really good somehow.
But again, they lost to the Netherlands.
Did they?
They beat us. The weirdest. This is why you don't hope. If you would have listened to our last podcast, if it could have been produced, I essentially said, why on earth? Whose bright idea, apart from the finance guys, whose bright idea was it to host a World Cup in India? Who thought of that? Genuinely, nobody plays well in India other than India.
Well, they are. I think they're going to win, probably.
India are by far and away the best team. They look the best team. Kohli's got a century in every game. I mean, and he can't fucking hit a barn door anywhere else. It's just, why on earth is it in India? I mean, you get a billion fans, but the stadiums are empty.
Are they?
Yeah, you watch a game, apart from when it's India playing, the stadium's empty.
Yeah, true. There's probably not.
No one's going to India to watch the Cricket World Cup. Let's be real. It's just a joke. I mean, the fact that it's held in it, and look, that may seem a bit salty from an an England fan.
Kind of seems racist.
It's not racist at all. The conditions. It's not about the people or the country itself per se, even though it kind of is, but it isn't. It's more about the conditions. It's historically known. I mean, obviously Australia has an advantage in Australia. England has an advantage in teams have an advantage in their home country. But everybody who watches cricket knows that India have by far and away the best advantage in terms of home field. The conditions, the spin, it's just, I know you're trying to change the pitches and make them all different, but no matter what, you cannot change the conditions that much. And essentially, look, I'm not blaming England I'm saying England have been pathetic, but you've also got to attribute it to the fact that England never play well in India. There's a reason why Australia have lost 2 out of the first 3 games. There's a reason why England have lost 3 out of their first 4. There's a reason why this is happening. It's not a coincidence. There's a reason why South Africa lost to the Netherlands while Afghanistan are beating it. There's a reason why it's happening. It's because the conditions are so bad for anyone that doesn't play in them regularly. You watch Bangladesh have looked fucking solid. Sri Lanka are in the top 4. I think I said it in the last podcast. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a fucking India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and fucking Afghanistan quarterfinal. That's not even a joke. That could genuinely be the fucking semi-finals.
Well, maybe they deserve it, you know?Maybe the cricket's just improved that much.
No,
around
it's
the
in
world.
India.
Let me look at the ladder. Yeah, I mean, New Zealand... New Zealand are doing well. South Africa are doing well. India are doing well. Everyone else is pretty much slugging it out.
But look, where's Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka are 8th.
Oh, they're doing shit. Well, they're
Bangladesh are 10th.
Okay, well, look.
England are 9th.
But where are India are first?
Yeah, India are 5-0.
Yeah, fucking shock, mate. Shock.
We're in 4th at 2-2 somehow.
Yeah, we're dead last. So, look, maybe what I said was a bit wrong about the rest of the country. But, I mean, Afghanistan and Bangladesh are not fucking good, are they? So,
no, they're not.
It's just like India. I get it, India have a solid team, but, it's just obvious that this was the wrong decision. So, look, I'm not going to blame whoever made it. But, look, this could just not happen. I get it. Biggest cricketing nation in the world. You could argue they deserve it. And they do deserve it. But
they shouldn't have it.
The conditions say you can't have it. It's not like basketball where you can have it indoors.
I mean, yeah, but that's just a part of the sport of cricket. I mean, the conditions wherever you play it are going to have an effect on the home team, more so than a soccer World Cup, for example, where a pitch is a pitch, even though the crowd's going to be on your side a lot. But
look, I get it. Look, England won the World Cup when we were in England, so home field does play an advantage, but to this extent.
But Indians would probably say that about Australia, or
they'd say it about England won in England the last World Cup, so what are you complaining about? I get that, but India have been so dominant, and there's a reason why Australia and England, who, in my opinion, if you look on paper and you look at their ODI track record over the past 2 years or whatever, they've been a top 2 nation or top 3 nation in the world, both of them, in ODIs and short form cricket. They've been unreal. England, obviously, holders of the T20 World Cup and the ODI World Cup. And they're bottom of the entire World Cup. They're below Afghanistan. There's a reason. It's not coincidence. It's not just England aren't performing well. That's part of it. But there is also a part of it of the World Cup's in India. So look, I'm not going to complain too much, but that's my sort of sentiment on it. Anyway, we can touch a bit on Champo before we move to your experience in France. Manchester United winning this morning. Great result. 1-0. We were dog shit first. We were absolutely wank first half, as per. Second half, we created more chances, but Garnacho missed a couple of sitters. Rashford sucked. And then Harry Maguire got a miracle header.
Harry Maguire.
And we were better second half. And then, no. I don't think it's a penalty.
No, he's kicked him in the body. It's got to be
El Yunusi is jumping into... El Yunusi could have headed that ball in the back of the net. He jumps into McTominay, and jumps into the leg of him just to try and get a penalty. Like, he could have easily got that ball. Easily got to it. But he literally, the ball's there. The ball's there. He's right there. And McTominay's like there. He goes like that. And he jumps right into him. Technically, you can call it a penalty. But Man United wouldn't get that penalty. Let's be real. Anyway, great save by Onana. Redemption, maybe?
Oh, no. You don't want to run with me.
Oh, no. We're singing different Onana songs. I mean, that's just fantastic. Fantastic.
He's got multiple tunes. But, I mean, redemption, not redemption.
Fantastic goalkeeper, never doubted it. But look, great save. Great moment. Hopefully it turns around for him.
He looks like shit scared, though, out there now. He looks like he's just worried every time they come forward.
Maybe. Well, look, he probably is fucking shit scared, but I think this maybe would be a confidence booster. So,
I think it all stemmed from when he sprayed Harry Maguire in, like, the first game. He was a bit too overconfident, and...
well, I think he's very confident. I think you listen to his press conferences, he's always taking responsibility. He's never, like, shying away. But yeah, it's been a tough start. And
has Harry Maguire actually been playing well, or is he just no?
Like, he hasn't been playing bad, but I think
I saw Goldbridge say that he has to start against City.
Well, he was great today. He was fantastic. Him and Varane were really good, and obviously he scored the game winner. I mean, we don't have Martinez, we don't have Shaw. Everyone's injured, so I mean, it's either between him and Lindelof, and he's playing better than Lindelof at the moment. Look, if you start anyone, we're going to suck. Our defense is shit because everyone is injured. So, yeah, it is what it is. We're going to lose to City, but...
Isn't Haaland having a regression?
People are saying
without
regression.
De Bruyne?
He literally is still probably top goal scorer. I haven't looked, but he's probably still top goal scorer.
Everyone's saying he's nothing without De Bruyne.
No. Well, he was playing without De Bruyne in Dortmund, wasn't he? So,
yeah,
not exactly nothing. But story of the Premier League is Ange Ball and Spurs.
Yes.
Now, it's quite... I always think about Harry Kane in this situation. Every time Spurs win, I think Harry Kane. What must he be... I know Bayern are doing unreal, especially in the Champions League. But what he must be thinking right now... he must be thinking... Why did I have to leave? The 1 year.
The saviour arrives.
The 1 year. I know they've had good starts before and they've been competing for Premier League titles. But the 1 year... if this continues till, January, he must be, crying because his legacy will be just ruined in England in terms of his ability to win. Because everyone will say, everyone wins trophies at Bayern. That's not a big feat. But if Spurs were to win it, it would just be... look, I'm probably... I believe no one should have second teams. But as a person who's lived in Australia and supports Ange... every Australian, everyone
loves him.
Everyone loves him. And I think everyone in Australia right now, Spurs is their second or first team because they want Ange to do well. And
it's the best start ever to a Premier League managerial career.
From the start, Ollie had a better start. I think that's sort of...
What?
He had... I think Ollie, when he was an interim manager, I don't know if you're full-time or I don't know what, but I know when Ollie first started, he had interim. I think he had 24 and just got 23. So that was a bit of a misclick from whoever put that stat out. But, by the way, great job from Spurs. And look, if Man United weren't to win it, I want Spurs to win it, obviously. So
well, Man United are gone, mate.
We're never gone, mate.
They're like...
You never watched the 99...
They're 10 points behind.
Have you never
already.
watched the 99 Champions League final?
I have. I watched the Beckham doc.
Yeah. Did you see that we were down 1-0?
That's when Ollie scored,
Injury
right?
time. Today, last kick of the day. Last kick. Penalty. Onana saves. We are Man United. We can win it whenever. McTominay, the other day. 2 goals in injury time.
And then he's just given away 2 penalties to make up for it. But
2 goals in injury time. Doesn't matter.
Well, how did he not score today? He had the wide open goal and he's missed it.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I was watching that. Yeah. If he would have passed to Rashford as well, he had an open net. So, but Rashford would have probably missed that as well. So, look.
What happened? How does Rashford do this? Every 3 years he plays amazing and then he's just shit
I
again.
don't know. It's getting frustrating at this point. We do definitely lack quality from the wingers in terms of finishing, and it's plain and obvious. But anyway, moving on to your rugby experience. Obviously, you went to France hoping that Australia would would still be in it, but didn't really happen. How was the first the games and then the Francais experience overall?
It was awesome. Honestly, the games were amazing, even though Australia wasn't there. It was almost better that Australia weren't there because they were really good games. Probably the four. Well, I saw 2 live, and then the 2 Paris games were on later at night, so you could go to a pub and watch it with some atmosphere.
Yeah.
They were probably the 4 best games of rugby union I've seen in ages. So it was awesome. The atmosphere was insane. It was better than probably the best live sporting thing I've ever seen.
You obviously haven't been to that many live sporting things, though.
I've been to a few. It's better than anything in Australia, for sure. The games were awesome. I mean, we saw Wales lose to Argentina, which was a close game, and then obviously Fiji England. Fiji England was an awesome game. Semi Radradra obviously playing for Fiji.
Up Semi.
He was a beast. Absolutely killed it. But then obviously England won at the end, which was good. But I mean, the vibe on the streets was insane. I mean, you'd walk into a pub, there would be 20 or 30 Welsh people or English people just singing songs all night. It was just like a World Cup experience, but I'd never sort of been in that sort of place. So it was cool to see. Like the first night we went out to a pub.
Who's we?
Like me, the guys we were staying with, my dad.
Oh, okay.
There was like 8 of us in a group.
Okay.
We went out to a pub. This was the night before the Wales-Argentina game. There was like 30 Welsh guys in this pub. My dad decided to wear his Wallabies jersey for some reason. As soon as we walk in there, they all start screaming at us, like telling us to fuck off. I was like, oh my God, we're going to die. This is insane. And then they all started like singing Waltzing Matilda. It was full on.
But nothing like a drunk, Welshman.
No, but I was saying this is what Australia needs. Like the sporting culture in Australia is great, but like this would just take it to another level.
I disagree. I think you saw in the World Cup, Australia, in terms of their support behind the football team is unreal.
Yeah, but there's nothing like just chanting random things.
Yeah, like, but that's just it's the same in America.
That's just like northern.
Yeah, the same in America. But you could argue
European
they have
culture.
an unbelievable experience in America because of how much the whole experience is taken into account. There's just different things in different places. And Australia is very similar to America in terms of it's not really about, fucking the chants and all that gaff.
Yeah, but it makes it better.
But
like,
yeah, look,
I've been in the Australian culture. I've been to like State of Origin. I mean, how good would State of Origin be if New South Wales would just singing shit about Queensland the entire time?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. And yeah, look, I've been to. It's the same when you go to the football in England. Going to a Man United game, 80,000 people, just celebrating like that. Not only celebrating that, but chanting and saying things to the opposition fans who are in the corner. It's just unreal in terms of that atmosphere. And then walking home, there's fucking punch-ups between different fans.
Well, the punch-ups aren't the good bit, but...
No, but it's part of it, mate. It's fucking part of it.
No, that's the toxic bit we need to get rid of.
Nah, just fucking get it. Bring it back, mate. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, not innocent people, but if 2 people agree to spar and fight on the street, let them do it.
Right.
So hooliganism, no, unless it's 2 parties that are like fucking going at each other. Like I saw like a hooliganism bit. I think it was Wrexham actually. It just happens like if like a family is like wearing the opposition, kit, or is an opposition fan, and it's like a dad and his kid, and then these the opposition fans are like shouting abuse and like threatening him. That's disgusting. But like if it's like 2 fucking groups of people who are fucking hard nosed and want to fight each other, let them be.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see
cook.
any like actual hooliganism. There was not really any fights. Most of the people were pretty nice. Like it was kind of funny. Like we just wore Wallabies jerseys, and by the end of it, you're expecting everyone to give you shit because you didn't make the quarters. So by the end of it, it was just funny, and everyone was nice to us. We would give a little stick back, but it was good. In terms of like Marseille's a dump. I would not recommend going there. The place
France is a dump.
No,
I don't recommend going there.
The cities in France are shit, but the country is amazing. That's where you want to go if you go to France. Not many people go there, but it's beautiful. It's very, very scenic, very cool. That's where you want to go if you're in France.
Go to fucking anywhere. go to the middle of nowhere in New South Wales, you'll find the same view. Go to the Blue Mountains.
No. Oh, bro.
Go to the Blue Mountains.
Bro, it is
same shit.
It is nothing like that. Completely different sort of.
Go to all the farmland out fucking New South Wales. Same shit.
No. Oh my god. That is
France
the worst
is a
comparison.
shithole.
Oh my god. That is the most.
Well, look, I'm not saying the countryside
It's
isn't
nothing
cool.
like Australia at all. It's like old little villages in mountains.
Yeah,
and
go to England. Go to Italy. Italy's cities are way better, and the countryside.
Yeah,
is way
Italy's
better.
cities are better, but
Anywhere in Europe is better than France.
no, not country wise. City wise, yeah. Well, for someone who's been to pretty much all the countries in Europe, I would say France.
I've been to
has
every
one
country in
of the
Europe.
better countries.
I've been to more countries in Europe than you.
How many have you been to?
I've spent more time in Europe than you have.
How much time have you spent there?
Years.
Yeah, but you're from
holidays every Christmas to Europe.
Yeah, but from my experience, I've probably been to 20 countries in Europe. And
You've been to 20. All right, tell me the country you've been to in Europe.
Well, I lived there for a year.
You went to 20 countries.
Yeah, something like
There's
that.
like 25 countries in Europe.
Well, okay, maybe not 20, but it's 15, 16, something like that.
Mm.
But
You've been to like Belarus and Russia
no.
and Ukraine.
No. Well, I've just named the
Greece.
countries in
Have
war.
you been to Greece?
No.
So, I mean, Romania.
No. You've just named like the most random countries.
No, those are fucking... Sweden. Have you been to Sweden?
No.
Norway.
No.
So you haven't been anywhere.
Name
Western Europe.
Name a main country.
Just say Western Europe.
Okay, Western Europe.
You've been to Western Europe, which is, to be fair, the best part of Europe, but you haven't been to like Eastern Europe or, Northern Europe.
Northern Europe?
That's like Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, all gaff.
No, but they're not fucking relevant, are they?
Well, they're pretty relevant. They're pretty good holiday destinations.
If you want to go skiing, but...
Which you do go skiing.
Yeah.
Anyway, look.
That wasn't...
in terms of country, I mean, I may have a hatred towards France, but it is a shithole. I would rate Germany is way better than France. Germany's like a better version of France. Like you said all the stuff about the countryside. Germany's way better countryside anyway. Or you could put it on a similar level.
Say so.
And then the towns and the cities are 1,000 times better. Italy, way better. I mean, where else do you want to go? Anywhere is better.
I mean, for cities,
England's better.
But, bro, England is not better. England has like 2 days of sun a year.
So does France. Is not the fucking haven for sunshine, is it?
The south of France, yeah, it's amazing. It's
better.
It's almost winter time, and it was 25 degrees every day. It was amazing.
It's global warming, dude.
But yeah, what made me realize basically was from going to this is that I'm fucking not doing enough shit with my life.
There we go.
We don't do enough things. We just sit in Sydney all year doing fucking nothing. And it's like, from this year at least, the two things that I'm probably going to remember from this year is going to the F1 and going to the World Cup. So it just puts into perspective like the things you could be doing, Like
Yeah.
I've been saying my whole life I want to go to a soccer World Cup.
Well, yeah.
And then it's
the US World Cup, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what.
So there's just like heaps of, sports stuff that you got to experience. So next year, I think I'm going to make an effort to fucking go to more shit.
Good idea, man.
Yeah, like Magic
Motivational
Round, lock
stuff
that
like
in. And the next Rugby World Cup's in Australia, so that will be...
Wait, there's about 20 fans will show up to every game, then great.
No, another thing I also realised is rugby union is very much alive.
Everyone knows it's alive in
except
Europe.
Australia.
It's alive everywhere apart from Australia. So
yeah, so there's still a lot of fans there, which was surprising. But
well, look, disappointing World Cup for Australia and England. Final is it this weekend? I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
South Africa, New Zealand.
Hate South Africa with a fucking. They beat us twice in the space of 2 days.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they beat us in the last World Cup final. It just South Africa.
But England didn't deserve to be.
Well, fuck
close to a
off,
World Cup
South
final.
Africa.
Like England were lucky to even make a semi-final.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, well, thanks for listening today. We'll keep it a bit short and sweet. Keep it under the hour mark, just to make sure that we can upload it. Hopefully, but yeah, thanks for listening. And Bob's your uncle. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I don't think so. Bob is your uncle. Whatever
Bob is your uncle.
Whatever that means.
Hasta la
What
vista.
does that mean?
Thanks for listening and subscribe. See you later.
Peace.